I listened to the weather forecasters last night, and boy, am I glad I did. It was a southerly wind forecast, so I decided to try and add some support to save the sunflowers. Firstly, I put some braces across the 3 plants, 2 of those, and from there I added some guy lines. And then I put a guy line between the 2 rows of plants. Fixings was a strong guy line into the prevailing wind. This end here is tethered to the veggie pod, and the second one that's all the way back, and that's fixed to the concrete post. All looking good. This one's drooped its head a little bit, but I should say the plant is getting near to maturity for the flower. I've just done a recce down the side just to check for any damage, and it seems the worst victim is the sweet corn, and I've just noticed just the one of mine has gone over. And so I'm going to put a couple of steel bars in and a rope round to pull them back. Well, the severe gusts seem to have died down a little. I've just checked on the onions over there. They're under some polycarb sheets. The airflow can get through to them, and them drying out nicely. So rather risk than getting wet, any rain was going to come in, I'm going to fetch them out, top and tail them, and put them in some mesh drying racks, put them inside the garden shed. Well, that didn't take too long. As you can see from there, I've left quite a long neck on there, and that's purely to help drain any more moisture still left in the onion. Point the neck down and they'll drain freely on their own. That's 2 trays done. I've probably got 1 more tray left, and so these will be going into the garden shed. Nice, dark, cool but dry in there, and we'll take them as we require them. Now that we've tidied up the onions and put them into store, that's freed up a bit of space down the back. It needs weeding first, but in its place I've got some Durham early cabbage that need planting out. This has worked out just right, really. So once I take this down and clear the weeds out, I've already got some winter veg in here. I think that one's called Tundra, the cabbage in the back, and there's also Calabrese in there, which needs heads cropping again. Plus, obviously, it needs weeding. So what I'll do, I'll tidy this up now, get the others planted out, and I'll probably put the cover over the complete bed. Just mention this while I'm in this area of the allotment. These are the potatoes, the main crops, the Sarpo Mira, and this bed here is a 6 foot by 8 foot, 48 square feet, and it's got 12 30 litre containers inside. Most of you will be thinking about lifting the main crops now, and I'm just showing you the way I actually support mine. This is this green plastic barrier netting, which I know quite a lot of you use, and that just surrounds the whole bed. And I use these things called lamp pins or line pins, I find if you put those about every 2 foot apart, it's more than enough to keep the net upright, and the density of the foliage, they support each other. The blue rope there, I've added that on recently because the storms we had, the Storm Ellen and Storm Francis, I think it was, and that gave it a bit of extra support. Say in the middle I've got my sunflowers, and them are still growing along quite nicely. But the horns on here say about 5 foot high, and I've had no issue with them at all. It's supported quite well. In fact, the first and second early potatoes in the bed over the back there, I think I can show a bit of footage. They was planted 12 containers in half the size, so that it was 4 foot by 6 foot. So in fact I could probably get 24 containers in there, and the foliage pushes itself out and does support itself. Just make sure you get a surrounding all the way around. So that's a bed weeded ready. If you're going to do weeding, do it thoroughly and get what roots out you can. Don't just rip them off at soil level, because they'll be back in no time. So I've got the bulb planter down there, and there's the cabbages there, Durham Earlies. Not sure how many I'll get in here now, probably, I don't know, probably about 9 in. We'll see how it goes. The sky's gone dark at the moment, so it might be rain stop play soon. I managed to get 11 in altogether. They're a bit closer than I normally plant them, but they'll be out early next year, and this bed will be designated for brassicas anyway. The ones on the end there, the 3, they're a bit close to the other crops, but the calabrese will be coming out in probably another 4 weeks. So those are in. I have added lime to the soil and the planting hole. Just got to give them a watering in now. I finished it off with a framework and put some net over. The net's a bit too big really, but it'll do the job. The main objective is to keep the pigeons away. The brassica bed is gradually starting to empty, but still fetching stuff out of this. This is a grey-end cabbage, and rock solid, tremendous. With the prolonged rain we've had and the warm spells, the second cropping potatoes in these containers, the ones we're doing for Christmas, have shot up surprisingly fast. So I've just topped the buckets up. I've just added a couple of 2 or 3 hoops on the top with some netting over, just to protect them from any predators during the night. But the main thing is, this time of year now, we need to keep our eye open and be well aware for the signs of blight. I guess most of you in the UK have experienced the effects of the storms Ellie and Francis in the recent few weeks. It's well worth just checking around the plot, see if there's any plants and that would have been affected. And in my case, it's the Brussels sprouts. It's a good time anyway just to check that they need staking, because once they start putting growth on, they'll actually tilt, and then it'll loosen the roots. So what I do, I've got these metal poles in, and I just pull them slightly, nothing too fierce because you don't want to risk snapping, and then add the cable tie around. So that's it, tethered to the stake. Say nothing too tight, give you plenty of room to grow. I'll just carry on along the row and do the rest of these. In the allotment greenhouse now, and picking some tomatoes again. These are these Super Mama, and I must say I'm really impressed with these. Got a lovely shape on them. And just move across to this side here, and there's some gigantic ones. I think I'm going to be picking these soon, firm, and the other one I've just left them on just to help the others ripen a bit, but impressed with the size. I'm just kicking a few of these sweet peas off. These have flowered the hearts out all through year. These are the Hilda's mix that I had from Andy, and so I'm saving these so that they produce their full blooms again next season. It's most noticeable this time of the year, especially morning and late at night. There's a definite nip in the air, and to me that means we're about to encounter a change of seasons. If you watch my channel on a regular basis, the name Dave Taylor will be familiar with it. He's the guy who finds these derelict allotment sites and puts them back into working order. Well, in the October edition of the Kitchen Garden magazine, there's a feature on Dave, and he's actually got a site up and running fully, and there's some pictures there. Hopefully in the next week or two, I'll be paying him a visit. I'll be taking the camera with me, doing some filming, and also hope to speak to a couple of plot holders on there, and they can share their experience of how the site was reborn. In the meantime, I'm going to carry on picking some more sweet peas, so I'll see you in the next one. All the best. Bye for now.